The biggest question coming into the game, how warm or frigid would the welcome be for Mitch Marner in his homecoming? Golden Knights and Maple Leafs on a circled on the calendar night at Scotiabank Arena. Well, the night always going to be about Mitch Marner, but Anthony Stolarz grabs a share of the spotlight. A surprise start, his first since November the 11th, over 2 months with a nerve issue. Aiden Hill at the other end returned after an even longer stretch out to beat the Maple Leafs 18 days ago in Vegas, but the central focus here tonight is number 93. New number, new team, back for the first time in his old rink where he played as a Maple Leaf for 330 games in this building. First time as an opponent.
And don't you think Bruce Cassidy taking a little bit of the responsibility and stress off Mitch Marner by getting him back on the wing? At this point anyways, playing on that right side, move Thomas Hertl to the middle. You know his mind's going to be on an awful lot during this game.
And Jan.23 out for Toronto thinking this is a piece of cake compared to his homecoming, although here come the boos from the crowd as Thomas Hertl, who tied the game 8 days ago with 7 seconds to go. Marner back to Hertl. Hertl up high, tracked by Tavares. First shot is blocked, and Matthew Nyes takes over and flips out. There's Rasmus Andersson, another guy we would have been talking about first. And a pass in front, knocked down, and Marner knifes that off the stick of Max Domi out to center. Rasmus Andersson's debut sneak up.
Absolutely, that's a big addition to the back end for Vegas as well, and familiar with his old partner in Noah Hannafin too. It'd be interesting to see how his game goes.
Speaking of great storylines, how about Oliver Ekman-Larsson back in the lineup? Would it look like he might be out for some time at icy call against Toronto?
Well, for Mitch Marner, I think he knew exactly what to expect coming in. This is nothing unusual, and I think you have to look at it as a player as a bit of a badge of honor. You know, if you didn't mean so much to this organization and not here anymore, the fans wouldn't really be taking notice. So I think that first shift was so important to just get out there, get playing, realize it's another hockey game, and downplaying it over the last couple of days has Marner been, as have the Maple Leaf teammates, ex-teammates.
Starting lineup brought to you by Molson. Molson, everyone in. Here's a chance for Stone in front. Scored! Jack Eichel from Mark Stone. They both extend long scoring streaks with a goal 66 seconds in.
Boy, do they ever. They do it in great fashion as you think for Anthony Stolarz trying to settle into the game, get a feel for the puck. And this line, with all the focus on that first shift, you get a lost draw and just a simple play from behind. 2 passes later, no chance at all for Stolarz. And that's 11-game streak now for Jack Eichel, and that's a 14-game streak for Mark Stone. And 2 of the dynamic offensive players for this Vegas Golden Knights team take just the second shift of the game, Chris, to get on the board.
60th point on the year for Eichel, the 50th point for Mark Stone. Extraordinary that he has points in 31 of the 34 games he's played this year, if you're wondering why he's on the Canadian Olympic team.
No question, isn't it? And you know, it's been lots of smiling faces, and as you said, just 34 games. So the injury early on, he sat out. He and Eichel have such good chemistry together, and there was a great example of it there. Barbashev with a great outlet pass and crisscross and in the back of the net. I can't help but think for Anthony Stolarz, what's going through your mind? That's the first shot on goal, and there was absolutely no chance for him.
Robertson trying to thread it through, knocked down by Keegan Colasar, and it's flicked down the ice by Rundbjerg, playing in his first game, the Danish Olympian, getting his first start for Vegas this season. Colasar unable to reach that. Former Golden Knight Nick Waugh on the ice, unable to clear it, and Stetcher with a shoulder check up ahead, just out of the reach of Easton Cowan.
That caught Robertson too, didn't he? He fell awkwardly after that hard hit, but it was on.
Lips favoring his left leg as he heads to the Leaf bench. There's a pass from Lawrence to Lawton up ahead for Yardbrook, who lost an edge.
boy, guys falling all over on the ice here. And Robertson here, you get a hard pinch there by Lauzon. He took a bit of a glove to the face there, but also you mentioned his lower body, a little knee on knee. Yeah, his left knee hit the right knee of Lauzon, and that's where gingerly he got up back to the bench, and we hope that he'll be okay to come right back out.
Well, these two teams are noted for playing high-scoring games against each other. They've averaged over 7 goals a game in recent years, and it was a 6-5 overtime decision in favor of the Golden Knights in Vegas 8 days ago. Missing with a pass, but they wave off icing as Benoit into the zone. Tanner Lazinski, the former Flyer, centers the fourth line for Vegas. Lorentz's pass broken up and swung back in by Alexander Holtz. Vegas retreats on a change, and you know who has come up. There's Tavares, cut off there by Noah Hannafin. Reunited with Rasmus Anderson, the former Calgary Perry. Nice with a shot. And a good stop there by Hill. First chance for the Leafs. Comes back to the line. Up high. Michelli to Riley. His pass knocked down. And the puck played past Marner and out. Brandon Carlo got nicked in the last game. And he and Ekman Larsson were questionable following the overtime loss against Detroit for this game tonight.
Yeah, that was a good sign. I think there was some question after the last game whether both those players would be in the lineup. That would be a huge void to fill. Instead, Ekman Larsson back, as is Carlo.
Hannafin works his way out onto the left side for Stone. In comes Eichel. Offside call.
Well, it's Matthew Knies gets the first really good chance, and you know he's scoreless in his last 8, so you know he's looking for one. This is a nice little spin-off, and much like the Vegas goal, you win the puck along the battle, get it down low, and then into that slot area. There was 3 Vegas bodies in there, but good agility by Matthew Knies to adjust his body and get a good shot on goal. A good early save there for Aiden Hill.
In the last 10 games, Knies has been held to just 1 shot or fewer. So a good early chance for him is a positive sign. Here's Eichel. Game-winning goals against Toronto in the last 2 starts. That overtime goal in Vegas. Matthews an outlet. Don't reach. Back to Matthews. 3-on-2. They hit the line, and McMahon precedes the puck. Offside.
Molson Leafs hockey on Sportsnet. Brought to you by Molson. We've been everywhere because we're for everyone. Molson, everyone in.
Chris, it's been interesting early on here. Craig Berube has kept Matthews away from the Marner line, and he's been going up against the Eichel. That's a heck of a matchup between the 2 top lines. And, you know, it took a little bit of time, obviously, for Matthews getting used to a guy that he's ridden side back with for 9 years, but he's playing his best hockey at the most important time. This is such a critical stretch with just this being 7 games left before the Olympic break, 11 goals in his last 13 games, and he's back on track. So maybe a little bit of an adjustment without the guy who seemed to find him everywhere, and I think Matthews has handled it now well and kind of gotten used to the new reality playing without number 16.
Scored against Vegas in the first meeting. And 19 points in the last 13 games. Robertson back on the ice here. Kolasar, a long shot. Blocker away. Rebound scores. Keegan Kolasar has scored in both against the Leafs. A rebound goal. And Vegas has a 2-0 lead.
Well, there's a little bit of rust again for Anthony Stolarz. Nothing he could do on that first goal at all, as it was a beauty of a passing play. This is just simple rebound control. You know, an old simple play. Just get it towards the net. Tried to get the rebound past where the traffic was, but you see his reaction there, unable to get it. And then the rebound on the doorstep as Keegan Kolasar pounces on that one, and it's an early 2-0 lead that has silenced this crowd.
4th of the year for Kolasar. Thomas Marner, in his first game, has an assist for the Golden Knights. Braden Bowman, former captain of the Guelph Storm, on the ice. He comes up with a puck, centering it, looking for Holtz. Comes back to the line, Rasmus Anderson. He'll retreat. And back to Anderson, who missed last night in Boston because of issues with immigration. Coming from Calgary, can play in Canada. Hannafin trying to hold the zone. Now the Leafs are out. It'll be Lawrence trying to spring Lawton. Aiden Hill out of the net. Lawton chopped at him. Centered there, and Lawrence unable to turn that toward the net. Carlo whipped it wide. Morgan Riley in front. Redirected off the stick of Yarncroke, and he gets it back again. A push here, and Yarncroke. That will stick to Aiden Hill.
And that's exactly what that line has to do. You know, for Craig Berube, you get scored on again. So this Lawton line has had some really good chemistry. They get the puck in deep. They win some battles, keep the play alive, get to the front of the net. All the little things that you can do to try to wrestle some of the momentum that you've lost here early on. And a close call there as Yarncroke wasn't able to get a hold of it. But that has been a line that often will start after a goal against and try to get a little bit of momentum back. Mission accomplished. They get an offensive zone face-off with the Tavares line to try to take advantage of.
Carlo off a face-off win. Puck whipped in front. Nice, can't find it in his skates. And Vegas away. Marner got poked there by Carlo. Dorothea working in. A centering pass there as Lausanne had jumped up in the play. Hurdle gets a stick on it, but Matthew Nye's there to reclaim. Up past the stick of Riley. It's Tavares to Michelli. He can't control it. Marner just spun it to an open wing and played deep by McCabe. So 5 straight goals for Vegas. They gave up 4 in a row early against Boston last night. 3 in a 54-second span. McCabe shooting, and that went off the stick high. McCabe steps up again, trying to hold the zone. He did momentarily. Nice pass off the skate and out. Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Now it's Domi trying to send it in deep. Here's Theodoric, Canadian Olympian, fired it around for Barbashev. In the middle of the stone. Eichel on the move. Dashing it again. Jack Eichel, and couldn't get a shot off. Pointed Stone up high. He's got Anderson moving down. Here's Rasmus Anderson behind the net. He'll take a shot into the glove of Stolars. So coming up, our first break, but we'll stay here as they pay tribute to the former Leaf, Mitch Marner.
Proud to announce from the London Knights, Mitch Marner. Marner going in with a cut. He scores! Mitch Marner! Mitch Marner out front. He shoots. He scores! I need a step, Bobby. There it is. Now he's involved in the play once the puck is. Matthews is center. Marner scores! 100 points!
On behalf of Leafs Nation, thank you, Mitch, for 9 seasons with your Toronto Maple Leafs.
This game brings out of you. You know, when the game's going on, it's okay as a fan to boo because you're cheering for your team, but a great recognition of you know, not just what Mitch did on the ice. 9 straight years of leading this team in assists, 5 times led the team in points. But it's, you saw in some of that video, it's the community action too. You know, you're a part of this community, you're a key member, and I think that's the fitting tribute that you can get. Now, Chris, in the game, you can go back to what you were doing before, and I think that's the lovely balance that sports brings. The passion of the fans, but also the recognition of what people have done, not just on the ice, but in the community.
So face off in the lead zone with the Eichel line out against Lawton, Yardbrook, and Lorentz. And Lawton gets waived. So Stephen Lorentz in to do the honors and win the face-off for Toronto. Around it goes. Rasmus Anderson had the stick chopped out of his hands, and that's a penalty against, well, as good a leap penalty killer as they have.
Yeah,
Scott
you know,
Lawton.
Chris, those are one of those penalties that, to me, Anderson's stick just blew up. I mean, it wasn't a vicious slash by any stretch. He's just hopping up, and it just disintegrated below his hand, not even where he slapped it. Watch, the slash comes in between the hands, and then it goes up top. And I guess you get in those hands, you're always going to get the call. The broken stick is the frustrating part, but as you mentioned, a key face-off guy, and the first unit power play with he and Lorentz now gets switched up to Waugh and Yarncroke.
It's a 5-forward power play for the Golden Knights, who went 2 for 3 against Toronto in the first meeting. They had a power play goal last night. 7 for 21 in their last 6. Face-off win, but Marner holds the zone. He's back on the point on this power play as he was in Toronto. Eichel's pass misses Dorofeyev. Here's Tomas Hertl in front, and Stolar's down to make a tough stop on the Hertl backhand.
You know, you look at the threats that are down there on this power play, and you just have so many different options. What's been a real adjustment for Mitch Marner is, you mentioned him up at the top. So much of their action revolves around Eichel and Stone down low, and then add in Hertl with all of a sudden 11 power play goals as well.
Marner for Dorofeyev, second in the league in power play goals with 13. Only one Ryan Johnston and Dallas had 4. Eichel back up top. Jack Eichel down in front, and a bag play was a nice setup. Hertl unable to fit it, and the line's clear.
There's an example of it there. The option there for Stone is to either go in the slot to Hertl or across to Dorofeyev, and that's been so effective for them this year.
Eichel back in, drops for Stone. They already combined for 1 in the game. Trying to get it back to Marner. And Eichel returns it. And Marner's shot changed direction. Just missed. Back to Marner. A quick pass for Hertl. Dorofeyev. Stone. Around the horn and back up top. Back to Eichel. Holds, no shot. Now across. Dorofeyev again. Marner. Eichel off the side of the net. Stone put it in front. Leaps up with it. Matthews clears.
What a great play by Stolarz. He opened up his legs so that shot from behind the goal line wouldn't bank off him. He read that perfectly, knew he was in a vulnerable spot, and made the play so the puck went into the middle of the ice.
Tipped in at the line by Hannafin. Late stages of the power play. Around it comes for Theodore. Noah Hannafin in front of the net. Loose puck and knocked away. Lawton out of the box, but they can't get him the puck. And Lawton runs into Hannafin. Now played ahead. Here's Mitch. Surrounded as the Leafs make changes behind him. Bowman reaching for the puck against Nyes. Intercepted by Michelli. And now regained by Theodore. Shot 7-2 Vegas. A 2-0 Golden Knight lead on goals by Jack Eichel and Keegan Colasar.
Well, you think how big of a penalty kill that was for Toronto, though. On home ice, you can't allow Vegas to get that 3-goal lead here. Try to build something off a pretty solid penalty kill.
Robertson. Out comes the Golden Knights. It's Riley Smith sending it back. Anderson a shot on goal. Riley Smith playing center tonight. Out along with Colasar and Ron Bjork. And Larson will slow things down. Out comes Domi, Matthews, and McMahon. Bobby McMahon flicks it in. Still out to play that. Theodore steers it around. Marner's got the puck. Off the skate to Dorofeev and played deep by Hannafin. Matthews played it behind the net. Benoit there. A left wing outlet for Domi. Here's Max Domi to work. Knocked off his stick as he crossed the line. Matthews gets it back. Here's McMahon with Domi. They're in onside. A backhand wide of the net. McMahon gets it back to Domi. At the line, Ekman Larson fired off the blocker of Aiden Hill. Dorofeev ahead, Eichel on the move. Pass came across, and the Leafs come up with that. Ekman Larson buys some time to complete a change. Scott Lawton back out there. Thanks for Yarncrook. He'll send it deep. Lawton going after it. Up against Korzak. Loose in front of the net, and now played ahead for Eichel. McCabe and Riley reset. Escape and a player going off. Eichel
Usually blow the whistle there. Not necessarily a penalty, but typically the play is stopped.
Here's Bowman in and a hot shot high. Lawrence able to redirect that out. Back in come the Golden Knights. Here's Bowman in front. A chance, and Holtz wired that off the post. Back it comes. Another shot goes wide. Korzak after that. Morgan Riley sends it around. It'll be a bit back to Korzak, and his shot just missed. McWaugh. Lawrence will play it off the boards and out. Golden Knights skating well for a team that played last night in Boston.
You know what, Chris? I always felt that as a player. Sometimes they can really be your advantage. You know, they had a good third period last night in Boston. After a frustrating start, they've got their legs here to start in the first period.
Allen gets that to Nick Waugh. Now to Robertson. Here's Nick Robertson working it back to the line. Took another big hit. It's a couple he's absorbed so far. Benoit shot off the side of the net. He'll get to reload. Plays it to Waugh. Nice pass across. Stetcher look for Robertson in the slot. And a big hit by Benoit as he stepped into his man Ron Bjork. Larson plays it back to McCabe. Under 7 to go. Pace has been quick. Nyes in. Here's Ekman Larson. Unable to get loose. Marner along the boards. Kept in by Nyes. Matthew Nyes snapped the shot. Walked in front by Lozon. Michelli looks for Ekman Larson and gets it back. Matthias Michelli centering pass, and Marner there for Vegas. Out for Dorofeev, and he'll play it in. Shots now 8-3 in favor of the visitors. Austin Matthews to work. His shot ramped off a stick and out.
The game's got a good pace to it now, good energy, and you know the next goal's a biggie. Here's shot at one end, through the traffic, off the post and out, right back at the other. Benoit gets it there, deflection off the outside.
But of course, went on to win the game tonight. Anthony Stolarz, his first action after missing 33 games up to our little broadcast as the game. Didn't play any games during that brief conditioning stint, so that's all part of the adjustment for him here tonight, Chris.
Then won 4 games in a row, and then back-to-back against Boston. Started but didn't finish. And again, that's the last we've seen of Stolarz until kind of a surprise start here tonight.
Well, You're looking for puck movement. That first goal was some quick puck movement. I don't think he had any chance out.
You wouldn't have seen that in the American Hockey League, I guess.
No, not at all. And, you know, that is the challenge when you get back in. You can't even recreate it, say, in practice time because it's not quite the same unpredictability. And I can't help but think, you know, he's a veteran guy, 32 years old. If I'm him, I'm going, the idea of playing a couple of games, refresher games, the AHL, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if he said, I feel good, I'm ready. The question is, I was a little surprised to see him as the starting guy tonight. And it's one that's quite a choice for Craig Berube to make. And now he's settled in, and he's got to make sure that he can shut the door here.
He's enjoyed more than one 2-goal lead 8 days ago, and Vegas came back. They'll try and turn the tables here tonight. McMahon up ahead. There's Domi for Matthews. Checked there by Stone. Now in, Domi after it. Matthews follows up. He'll center. McMahon fired it. Missed the target. Good look for Bobby McMahon as the puck ricochets out.
Well, he missed it because just a great reaction from Rasmus Andersson. His first game, as you mentioned, but knowing where that pass was coming, as Matthews did a good job from the poise, quick little turnaround. Watch the reaction of Andersson. He gets the leg on it, up off the dasher, and out of play.
She scores!
How about that?
Scott Lawton anticipated it would be loud in this building here tonight. He is always loud when talking, personality-wise, whenever the puck drops, Chris.
Said he was out of gas on that penalty shot. That's why we didn't see the trademark clapper. He'd like a do-over on that. His 6th career penalty shot against Detroit.
His personality has really come out in the last couple of months, though, back to the way he was in Philadelphia, in the room. Lots of talk, lots of leadership, lots of energy. Took him a little while, especially when you're injured, Chris, coming to a new team. It's so hard to acclimatize yourself to the guys and become who you were when you were playing at your best in Philly.
Robertson deflected that to the line, but played back in. Morgan Riley will try the breakout once again. Mentioned 5 straight goals for Vegas after the last 3 in Boston last night. 5 straight against the Leafs as well. Down 5-3, winning 6-5, and up 2-0 here late to the first period. Here's Borzak shooting. That hit traffic in front. Loose there, and a Ron Buren shot was stopped. One of the best by Stolarz so far.
That's a big reaction by Stolarz there. The rebound was there. He was able to find it through the traffic and get over to his right to make a solid save.
There's Benoit venturing in against Shea Theodore. Left it there for Nyes. Matthew Nyes got it to Michelli. Back door, in front. Tavares stopped, and the puck cleared out as the Leafs were changing their defense. Close call there. Ekman Larson to McCabe. Bouncing it back in. Nyes goes after it. Tavares looking for it against Dorothea. Dorothea, 35 goals last year, 21 so far this season. Turned it over. Nyes is in, knocked off his stick, and Hurdle will turn back. There's Nyes coming up with it at center. And he'll bump it back into the Leaf zone.
Just a great stick by Shea Theodore there. He took away the option of cutting to the middle by Matthew Nyes. Might have had a really good scoring chance had he not been able to chip that one away.
At center, Lawton a stick on it. Ekman Larson was headed off, but makes the play to McCabe first. Here's Lorentz. Lawton. Behind the net, Anderson. An outlet for Stone. Off Lorentz, stays in the zone. Stone across to Hennepin. Up ahead, Eichel. Jack Eichel. Pass intercepted by Yarncroke. Missed Lorentz with the pass. And it will get played deep by Ben Hutton. Brandon Carlo. Off Domi. Hutton across for Borzak. Matthews trying to spin away from traffic. Pounded on the plate, taken away. And Stolar's a shot that ended up dropping. Tanner Lazinski with the hot shot. And that puck ends up out of play.
Well, you talk about digging in when you're down by 2. You got to make sure that next one doesn't go through. Look at 4 bodies in front of Stolarz. He just catches it. The vision of where that puck was at the last second, and then Dorothea just not only stopped the puck from getting across to Tavares, but watch the extra addition there. He's just not able to get the shot away because Dorothea is able to get that stick on stick and not allow him a clear shot on goal.
Off the draw, the Leafs control. Benoit up ahead. Back to Domi. He got bent there by
skip backwards. Skip backwards 15.
Pounded on the play, taken away. And Stolarz a shot that ended up dropping. Tanner Lazinski.
Not allow him a clear shot on goal.
Off the draw, the Leafs control. Benoit up ahead. Back to Domi. He got met there by Lausanne, who 2 years ago led the league in hits with 368. McMahon closed quickly. He forced a turnover. Matthews into traffic, able to tap it deep. Back is Lausanne. Got a ride there from Domi. Lundbjerg along the boards. He's tied up. Domi battles for it. 3 Leafs against a couple of Golden Knights, but they are able to play it away. Benoit reversing it. Destroyed Troy Stetcher. Up to Benoit. Lost it. Marner there to take it away. In front. Hurdle missed the target. Loose pocket. Knocked away with Marner looking at an open net. Final minute of this first period. It's come close to expanding their lead.
That one knocked off of Marner's body, and it was going in had Waugh not got there and stopped that one.
Hurdle again. Drops it down into the Leaf zone. Riley back to get it. Up ahead, nobody there for the Leafs. And picked off by Theodore. We talked about Shea Theodore's good stick. He has to be. He only has 1 hit on the season. That's
unreal.
The usual total for a mean blue liner like Shea Theodore.
You think you'd get an accidental collision that you might get a hit. That is an unbelievable stat, isn't it?
I mean, William Nylander's got more hits than that.
Yeah. You see the battles in front. Hurdle gets a great chance off of a turnover here, and it's good stick there by Mitch Marner, then throws it to an area. Shot goes wide, but watch, it comes off and it hits Marner, and good reaction to Nick Waugh just coming back to the middle of the ice. The bouncing puck's there, but would that have trickled in? Oh man, it would have been awfully close. And you can see the reaction of Marner that wasn't able to get to that loose puck, and number 55 maybe saved the goal there.
Late face-off here. Tavares on the draw for the Maple Leafs. Matthews out there as well with Nyes, Riley, and Ekman Larson against Eichel. Leafs win it. Morgan Riley plays it in behind the net. Nobody there. And the clock's going to drain here in this opening period. Mitch Marner's return.
Skip back.
Golden Knights
Skip forward.
got a quick start. Jack Eichel at the 106 mark, and then Keegan Colasar at 4:31. 10-5, the shots favored the visitors. First return to Buffalo. I'd suggest they got rougher treatment than Mitch Marner got in the first period. Here's Nyes off the post. Blue puck scores. John Tavares. And the Leafs on the board. 13 seconds in.
You talk about a way to get a little energy back in this building. You've had 15 minutes sitting in the room. What are you going to do to change this game? Down by 2. You mentioned before, Matthew Nyes, 10 straight games with not more than 1 shot on goal. He had a good chance early, and he does this all on his own. Quick little turn back off the post and a tough play for Aiden Hill. Hill knows the puck's behind him, tries to curl to take it away, but on the doorstep, John Tavares, right through the middle, got into that loose puck, and just like that, you're right back into a hockey game.
19th for Tavares, his third in 5 games, and he moves ahead of Daniel Alfredsson on the all-time points list, and now tied for 14th on the lead point list with former captain Rick Vine. Barbashev inside the zone. Eichel follows up. Jack Eichel, a hot shot off the shoulder of Stolarz. It'll be played back to Eichel in the corner, a centering play, and Doby there to gobble that up. Takes a look, wants to alley-oop it to Matthews. Flips it down, heading to the net, and swept away by Hill. Doby, a quick shot, and the Leafs come out flying here in the second. After it was Vegas dictating the pace in the opening period. Mark Stone now. Barbashev trying to get it back to Eichel. Breaks through. Stolarz kicks that away. Ekman Larson ahead. McMahon had a little room there. Vegas changing. Matthews in. Matthews wide. And then lost an edge as he went around behind the net. Fans wanted a call. As Matthews went down.
Well, he was all by himself. Nobody in the slot because Aiden Hill overplayed that so far. He was, 5 or 6 feet outside of his crease area if he was able to dish that to somebody.
Errant pass by Robertson, picked up by Ron Bjork, and he plays it wide of the net. Troy Stetcher on the ice. He went to the Leaf room with about a minute to go in the first period, but reports for duty here in the second. Tied up along the boards. Waugh trying to pry it loose. Colasar leans on him. Benoit's in the middle of it. And the board battle continues. Up came. It went past Robertson. Here's Hunt with a shot. That hit a leg, bouncing in front. Loose puck, and Robertson there to take it away. Flips it out to center. You know, Easton Cowan would like to make his mark tonight. Maybe here. A pass for Robertson. Knocked off his stick as Korzak came back. Now back in. Alexander Holtz. Into the corner goes for Brayden Bowman. Signed as a pro tryout in American Hockey League. Contract with Henderson 2 years ago, but now up with the big team. Brayden Bowman, a native of Kitchener, winding it up. Here comes Hannafin. On to the right side it goes. A shot snapped on goal, and Stolarz holds on to that.
You get all the emotions out in that first period, you know, coming into this game, all the talk about Marner and what reception. Find yourself maybe a little bit sleepy where the Leafs is. The guys were talking about in studio before, but couldn't ask for a better start. You know, you see this league, and you mentioned the last game in Vegas, the Leafs get that 2-goal lead. You know, they were just, for the third time in NHL history, gave up 4 2-goal leads and lost that game. And so you know that you're never out of it. There's so much hockey to play, and just got to keep chipping away. They've chipped away one. Now they got to find a way to wrestle that game back.
Couple of notes on the assists on the Tavares goal. Nyes with a new high 30th assist. And Matias Maccelli becomes the 10th Leaf with 20 points as he's on the score sheet as well on the Tavares goal at the 13-second mark. And that popped high in the air and over the glass.
Well, you mentioned the assist for Nyes. You know, you go through these little stretches. If there's one player that needs the break more than maybe any other Maple Leaf, it's Matthew Nyes. There's no question that he's been playing through an injury, taking some practice days off, a couple of game-time decisions, and you know that it has to affect your play. But that's the hard thing. Once you get on the ice, you've got to play like nothing's wrong, and he's gutted his way through it. But I'm sure that the Olympic break can't come quick enough for him to try to get healthy.
Seen a couple of patented Nyes bursts here tonight. And key on the Tavares goal. O'Reilly ranging back up against Marner there. Tavares knocks it behind the net. Stetcher up the boards. Nyes can't clear. Dorothea off the post. Dorothea with another shot, scores. Second chance, and he makes no mistake. And again, it's a 2-goal Vegas lead.
I'm not sure with the change of possession, whether Marner's going to get the assist on this one, but he's the one that made this possible. Just a strip inside the offensive zone as it looked like the Leafs were going to go back the other way. Just continued this pressure, and this line's had some chances here. Stetcher up on the point, and watch the quick stick, little backhand. Now that shot through a screen, the rebound there, and it's Tavares who's on his knees. I don't think Mitch Marner's going to get an assist there because Tavares can't clear it. Nyes turns by it, and you can see the reaction to Stolarz. And that quick shot up and over, no chance at all. Just like that, the Vegas Golden Knights wrestled that momentum back.
Dorofeyev had 2 power play goals in the first meeting. He has a 3rd goal against the Leafs here in this season series. We're now up to 22 on the season. Matthews to Domi, trying to get it back to Matthews. Unable to control. Barbashev swings it ahead. Here's Stone with Eichel. And that pass off a stick, and the play would have been offside. McMahon took the drop, but unable to get it deep. Eichel onto the right side, too far. Vegas will make a change.
Number 16, Pavel Dorofeyev. And is going unassisted. Top of the ball.
Robertson, unassisted. Dorofeyev goal. Maybe one of the most underrated of all the goal scorers in the NHL.
Especially on the power play, as you said. Just so effective with that unit.
There's a pass ahead. For Kolosar. Down the middle, Riley Smith. It leaked through. Troy Stetcher plays it back underneath Stolarz to save a goal.
Boy, Riley Smith just found himself wide open there as one man driving to the net, and they beat 2 Maple Leafs up ice. You can see Stetcher's a little late, but he comes back and plays the defensive role, but it's why and Robertson can't get there quick enough. Riley Smith, you won't get a better chance than that. Slides underneath, and a smart play by Stetcher. He didn't go by the net. Smith took about another stride or 2 past and couldn't get that rebound there. Stetcher wisely stopped on the net, able to poke it back under his goaltender to save what might have been a tap-in for Smith.
Smith had been playing wing with Mitch Marner at center, but they made the adjustment tonight, maybe to take a little heat off Marner. Back on the wing on the second line with Hertl tonight. Carlo up for Lawton. Stuffed along the boards. He'll turn it back to Carlo. Morgan Riley looks up place, a big pass that got past Lawton. Now flicked to the Leaf line. Maybe a chance. Bowman scores! Up underneath the bar for the young guy from Kitchener. And it's 4-1 Vegas.
Well, the previous goal was a turnover just inside the offensive line. This goal, a turnover just inside the Vegas line, and it's transition. There's just no way that you should be wide open like that. And Bowman just, how about this shot? Just tucked under the bar, got a piece of the bar, and then back underneath. Morgan Riley can't get control of the puck, can't find where it is, and a quick little outlet pass, and Bowman makes them pay. Just a rocket of a shot up and over the glove of Anthony Stolarz. How about that look? That's an exciting pretty look on the bench. Wow.
97 goals in 3 seasons in 12. And again, walked into development camp and earned himself a AHL contract, and now he's a goal scorer in the NHL. It's his 7th. Lazinski and Holtz, that's the 4th line with the 4th Vegas goal of the night. Back it comes to Benoit Ekman Larson, a blast, and that's off a body and out.
Those are the kind of goals, the last 2 that'll drive a head coach crazy. And you know, Berube, we showed him at the beginning of the first period on those 2 goals with the puck management. That's been the problem when the Leafs have struggled, is the turnovers and puck management in their own zone. There you had it in the offensive zone as well as theirs. That's a play, Chris, that should not allow that kind of time for Bowman to be free to get that shot away.
seconds. About 3 minutes later, Vegas answered, and they scored 2 in a minute 44. Ekman Larson shot kicked away by Hill. Just the 8th shot on goal for the Leafs tonight. Stolen here by Marner, taken back, and Nyes will hit up ice. Michelli's on his right. Nyes will chip it in. Michelli goes after it against Hannafin. Past Matthews. Here comes Marner over the line. Working it back, and Matthews read the mail. Michelli at center. Fires it deep. That'll start a chain. Matthews goes after it. Comes up with it. Gives it to Domi. Defender's lost his stick as Domi plays it back. McCabe and Stetcher. Over to Domi. Back to Stetcher shooting. Hit a leg. McCabe in deep. Stone there with a quick stick. Matthews up with it. He put it in front. And kicked away by Hill. Stetcher to Domi. Matthews again. In front of the net. Knocked away from Jake McCabe before he could get a shot away. Pressure continues. Matthews shot blocked. Was on there. Now picking up his stick. His hurdle. Trying to get it back. It does for the Golden Knights. After an extended period of time in the Vegas home for Toronto. Came back to get it. Barbashev on his tail. Stetcher looks up ice. Here's Stetcher ahead to McMahon on the left flank. Bumped by Korzak. Hutton plays it back to Caden Korzak from Yorkton, Saskatchewan. And now Rodbjork's in. Here's Jonas Rodbjork, checked by Riley. It was Waugh. Riley up ahead at center, a good pass. He finds Cowan. Waugh after it, in behind the net, and now Nick Robertson arrives. Cowan gets on it. Cowan tried to cycle it back for Waugh. Here's Waugh for Robertson. Got away from him, but Benoit moved up. Rim it around to the near side for Ekman Larson. Waugh along the boards. Cowan. Robertson. Robertson takes over once again. Off the skate to Cowan. Watched there by Riley Smith. Kolasar trying to clear it. Now Vegas is out. Here's Smith trying to cut in. Missed the pass. Robertson turns it back. Nick Waugh. Easton Cowan. And just slowing him up was Anderson. With the leap breaking toward the net. Back the other way, Lazinski. Here's Tanner Lazinski in. Stolarz to stop with the puck. Dropped down at the far post. Back to Hannafin. Rasmus Anderson returns it. Hannafin shot deflected by Lazinski wide. Leafs will turn it. Michelli down the ice. Rolls it in, and Tavares goes after that against Hannafin. Michelli picks it up. Trying to center it with Nyes loose, but Vegas intercepts him back the other way. Come the Golden Knights. Rolled in. Carlo there. Vegas changing, and Michelli tried a one-touch pass that doesn't work. Back to Michelli again. That knocked away from the Golden Knights line. 9.5 minutes into the second period. Vegas has expanded their lead. Michelli off the boards. Nyes after it, one-handed by Theodore. And here's Marner. Dropping it off. It's Shea. Theodore in front. Knocked away from Dorofiev. Lawton pocket picked by Marner. Theodore tied up. And Nyes is away. Lawton breaking. Scott locked in. Lawton backhand scores. There's a penalty shot move. And Lawton back on the board.
Yeah, so much made about the penalty shot where he came in slowly. Another turnover at the end of the shift. Now it's Vegas that gets a little bit ahead of the puck. Response from Aiden Hill. That fake shot got him down. That move to the outside opened up the slowly, like a curling rock to the house, slid past the line, and Lawton gives this team and this arena a huge boost.
3rd and 5 for Scott Lawton. And 8 on the year now for the veteran. Here's a turnover. Domi's up with a puck. He'll play it back to Ekman Larson shooting, and that off the leg just wide. Leafs trying to follow it up here. Need one to get within one. Matthews, sharp angle. Here's McMahon. Domi back up top. Matthews not in his wheelhouse. Deflected away from McMahon. Domi knocks down his man. And here's a chance for Domi. Trying to get it to McMahon. Partnership. Shaken up on a hit. Gets up and plays it ahead to Eichel. Barbashev's going to stay out there. He was a little slow to get to his feet after a heavy hit.
Well, and there's one for Domi. You heard him talk in the pregame about having to shoot more. That's one. I think he shoots that puck. There's 2 guys in position to get a rebound. Instead, an errant pass allows the pressure to be taken away.
A little more energy after the second Leaf goal. Lawton from Nyes. He's got a pair of assists in the game. Yarncroke outside the line, taken away, gets it back. Carlo across for Riley. Here's Riley swooping in. He'll center it in front off Hill. Back to the line, kept in by Carlo. Around it goes to Lorentz. Lorentz, a shot blocked by Korzak. Lawton's got it again. He put it in front and that deflected past Yarncroke and Brandon Carlo.
Amazing what a goal does to the game, doesn't it? It gets just the pace up, real urgency now as that next one becomes even more important.
Yeah, the Golden Knights played last night. They can keep pedal to the metal, maybe wear down a team that's been busy. Here's Nyes swinging wide, turning it back. He'll cycle it down behind the net. Hutton there to give it away, and a shot by Nyes. Michelli after the rebound. He got slowed up, and here's Ben Hutton from Prescott, Ontario, working it in. Hutton played 4 games with the Leafs a few years back. Benoit off the boards. Nyes bumps his man, and in comes Michelli. He's spun out. And Tomas Hertl takes over. Up ahead, Lausanne, 7:07 to go here in the second period. Robertson. Wow. With Cowan. Drops it off. Cowan taking a look, trying to get it to Robertson. Stolen by Dorothea. Knocked down by McCabe. Cowan turns back. Defenseman fell there, but Vegas able to control the puck. Theodore and Mitch Marner.
Well, the fans are still in it anyways. Even standing behind his own net, not really doing anything, still gets the same emphatic boos.
Here's Stetcher on the tape. McMahon over the line is Bobby McMahon firing that off target. Stetcher back towards Matthews. Now Domi. And Stetcher will shoot it. Roll in front. Matthews had a whack at it. Domi is up with it. Here's Domi across. Jake McCabe back to Domi, covering the point. Stetcher to Matthews. Back to Troy Stetcher, and that ramps high off the stick of Barbashev.
The big difference there, you know, you have nothing but time to think of, and I think when you've got a guy breathing down your neck and you just do with some instincts, and you know, there's the kind of goal that can turn this game right around. He was saying on that penalty shot he was just dead tired, so didn't get the speed that he typically does. That speed there allowed him to just try to open the legs up of the goaltender, and Now all of a sudden, you've made a good point, Chris, about been a long road here for the Vegas Golden Knights. Haven't played last night. Keep that pressure up and just try to get it to a one-goal game by the third period and hope you can try to tire them out.
Chili fires it across. Riley, sharp angle, and that ring up a little bit. And bounces back into the Leaf zone.
That must have been right by the ear of Aiden Hill going past his head off the post on the other side.
Nice for Michelli. Sends it in. Tavares on the retrieval. Put it in front and knocked away from Nyes by Smith. Here's Riley holding the zone. Working downhill. And Eden Hill makes the stop on that sharp angle shot. And Vegas clears. Nyes will wind it up and then get turned back by Rundbjorn. Shift for Domi, McMahon, and Matthews was dangerous. Matthews put it in front. That went by everybody. Benoit. Domi spins away. Tried to center it for Matthews. Matthews rides Lozano. Domi gets it back. At the line, Ekman Larson. Benoit in front to McMahon. Tapped it wide. Taken by Matthews. Matthews got it again. Shot there, turns it to Ekman Larson, back toward Benoit, all the way to Domi. Matthews up top, Domi's on it, can't get it through, knocked down there by Holtz, and Vegas is able to clear it out to center.
Another good shift by that line, though, a real determined shift by Austin Matthews, too, a couple of big physical plays.
Back in again, Matthews sent it just wide. Domi. Centering pass hit a leg. Leafs want to change. They're going to get it as it rolls back into the Toronto zone. Lead feed. Lawton back in. Lawton across, and Lorentz had his stick tied up. In behind the net, Lorentz centering it. It'll go off a Vegas player right to McCabe. Straddled the line, plays it in. Now Korzak. Lawton runs him. After it hurdle, and he'll flip it away. And Leafs have Vegas on their heels here for the last 5 minutes or so. Need one to get within one. Marner centering it. It bounces into the crease and covered by Stolars. Well, it was a sharp angle shot. Morgan Riley off the post. Comes close.
Well, Craig Berube kicked off training camp with the line that he's excited to not have to hear about the core four anymore. For a lot of years, that was the feeling on the outside, even internally at times. There was the core players, then everyone else. It's been a work in progress, but this season you sense things are balancing out more. Role players feel they have exactly that, a role. The personalities of a Scott Laughton or a Troy Stecher permeating throughout the rest of the team. And tonight, it's Laughton who injects some life back into this building here in the second period, something that's becoming more and more of a common occurrence the more comfortable he's getting, as you guys touched on, Chris.
Off the draw, that's off Stolars. You were saying such a good leader, tough to just walk into a new room and be that guy.
Well, especially with that 4-4 presence.
There's Matthews across, hits here. McCabe stopped by Hill. Ekman Larson spins it to Tavares. Forced back out. Wide it goes. Matthews, Tavares, Nyes on the ice here, looking for a goal to get within one. Barbashev the other way. Eichel lost it. Matthews turns back in. Here's Matthews looking for Nyes. Nyes along the boards. And Eichel there to take over. Up for Mark Stone.
Chance to take and walk in by himself. Stone instead didn't.
Here's a steal. And Hill. Oh, a dramatic barrel roll from Aiden Hill.
Oh, you go fishing for the puck behind. You get a bit of a bad break, and you can see the reaction to Hill. Hits the referee, gets in front, and right in the glove for the win.
The defensive play of the game presented by H&R Block. This tax season, get more of your own money. You owe it to you.
Well, you go back to the game in Vegas. How about that? Forget about technique. Just whatever you can. The reverse kick. And that was an absolute beauty. 5 goals on 28 shots to win that game in overtime. Here, with the pressure on, he makes just a beauty. As in tight was Easton Cowan trying to get it up and over after a bit of a bad break behind him. And Hill makes maybe his best save.
He thought so. A big smile on his face as they unpiled after that. Only Matthews, McMahon back out under 2 to go here in period number 2. Trying to get the Leafs a little closer. And it's Matthews to Domi. Stetcher. Riley. Up high is Domi. Sending toward it, scores! Tipped in front. And was it Bobby McMahon?
I think it was Morgan Riley going by him too. He got 2, a 7-4 and a 4-4 and a high tip and a low. Another example of just getting the puck to the net. You know, the one thing over this last 5 or 6 minutes, Craig Berube has been running Austin Matthews' line. They've had great impact. They've been playing in the offensive zone, and this one, it went by Morgan Riley, and then the high tip by Bobby McMahon. Watch the flyby here. I thought Riley got a piece of it there. Instead, it is McMahon, and that's not too high. Hill puts his hand up right away. A nice play by Morgan Riley to actually get his stick out of the way. And after a bunch of shifts in the offensive zone, McMahon flying by.
Under review. Gonna review it.
I don't think there's any question. Remember, it has to be the crossbar, not his shoulders, because the puck went in after. If it was just a high stick to keep the play going, it's his shoulders. But I mentioned that Berube's playing an awful lot. He had Matthews out again with Tavares and Nyes earlier because they've been getting the offensive zone time. That looks good to me.
That's not going to be an issue.
There it goes back to Max Domi again. You remember all the times he's had that puck and has been hesitant to shoot the puck to the net? That one finds its way in.
Upon video review, it's determined the puck was contacted below the crossbar. Prior to entering the net, therefore we have a good goal.
16th of the year for Bobby McMahon. He's got 7 in the last 16, and the Leafs within 1.
Chris, here's where you're talking about the schedule a little bit. You really keep pushing the pace of this game and force Vegas on the back-to-back nights to play at a different level. I think the last 4 or 5 minutes, if you ask Bruce Cassidy, they've been on their heels. They've been in the defensive zone and defending as opposed to controlling the play in the other zone.
18-19, time of the goal. That gets within 1, 4-3. Outscoring Vegas 3-2 in this second period. 50th second period goal for the Leafs. Been a problem this year. It's looks like a couple weeks ago it was getting better. And it's been okay tonight.
His 16th of the season.
Shot into Stolarz.
Jackpot City Casino. This is what excitement is made of.
Roller coaster all year, really, hasn't it? It was their strength last year for the Maple Leafs. It was a real problem early on, but it's been able to get better, and no question in this game. After that one goal, they pushed back and spent a good chunk of the last 6 minutes in the offensive zone.
Here's Tavares swooping in. He hooked that in front, but off a skate. Eyes on it. Final minute, second period. Stetcher for Nyes, gets by him. Magelli. Strong play. Out there against Hanifin. Tavares back to Ekman Larson, who steps on. Puck deflected out. And now on Tavares' stick back in the Leaf zone. possession. Back to Larson. Back towards Matthews. McMahon trying to come up with it. And Vegas able to play it out. Final 10 seconds of the period. Riley taking a look up ice. Off the skeet to Domi. Hannafin will try and kill the clock. Theodore with it. And we're through two here in Toronto. Golden Knights with a slight edge in shots at 17-16 and an inch on the scoreboard now, 4-3 after that late goal by McMahon.
Been all over that.
This morning, the fact that the Leafs got blown out that night in his return to the island, that was the main driver of the sour feeling that night. Eichel also lost his first game back against the Sabres. If you can win in your return, you remember the night a lot different than you would otherwise, Chris.
And the Leafs determined to spoil that. Looking for their third comeback from 3 goals down this year. They did it against Winnipeg and Pittsburgh, and they go to the attack right away. Hill got bumped in the Vegas goal crease. Here's a turnover at center. 3 teams had a pair of 3-goal comebacks: Florida, Utah, and Toronto. Leafs trying to become the first to do it 3 times. Marner up with the puck. No shots yet for Mitch Marner. And an offside called as Pacelli kicked the puck while inside the line, and Vegas wants the face-off down in the Toronto zone.
Well, it almost started like the second period started with the Tavares line. They've scored 13 seconds into period number 2 to make it a 2-1 game. Here in a 4-3 game, almost had a similar fate. It was about 12 seconds into the shift. They had a good chance at the net. Collision in front with Aiden Hill. Not sure what Pacelli's looking for. He wants his stick. His stick's in the other benches.
In the penalty box. And now, linesman Andrew Smith, though.
I thought it was one of the Vegas Golden Knights that took it, but it was the linesman that took it. He said, hey, man, it's not broken. I need it. I get it. I never like changing a stick that you liked.
That one rattled in. The Matthews line comes on. They scored that late goal. Here's McMahon in front. Knocked away by Theodore. Lions combined for 6 of the 16 shots for the Maple Leafs so far tonight. Dug out by McMahon. It'll come back to McCabe. Looking for Matthews off the side of the net. And a setup by McCabe. Matthews on the prowl again. Domi trying to get past Eichel. Swings it toward the net. That is fronted. Knocked away by Lozon and bounced down towards the Leaf cage. Take for tonight.
Well, again, it's back-to-back shifts in the offensive zone. They win 3-on-2 in the corner, and watch a little spin-off by Matthews here. Gets into the open. Great pass by McCabe from a tough angle, and Matthews just can't quite get that short side. I thought that second period, I mentioned it a couple of times, away from the puck, that was one of Matthews' best periods. He was physical, took the body a number of times, and his line was the one that really started to turn the tide territorially, anyways, in the offensive zone.
Hey, come on here.
Guys in the intermission talked about the depth of the Golden Knights. They have a goal from each line tonight. That has staked them to this 1-goal advantage. Ward battle.
That gets you the lead, but I'm sure Bruce Cassidy's going, my top guys need to come up with a third period here.
Might be square, and Stolarz has seen enough. He'll hold on.
Rogers. Plus it up on Canada's most reliable 5G Plus network.
How about for Stolars, all that time away from the game, you know, you practice hard and you get into your discipline, you get your process, as every goaltender talks about. You got to feel now, though, you're in the third period, you kind of get right back up to speed. Your instincts start to take over, and as a goaltender, you know, your job, shut the door here. Your team's done a pretty good job of getting you back into it. Down 4-1, they've got you 3. You got to make sure you don't give Vegas any more than 4.
Huge night for the Leafs in the face-off circle so far. Scramble draw here, but 25-12 now. That one went through. Stolars waved at it. I don't think he saw it through the screen as it changed direction.
Well, he didn't look very comfortable on that one, did he?
The Leafs got a break. Here is Lorentz after the puck. Back is Anderson. Lawton swings it in front. Knocked away from the front of the net there by Holtz, who came back defensively. Turned over. Here's Lorentz. Streaking in, and he fired that wide. Tavares off the bench. Taken away by Marner. He's pumped by Nyes, and that gets a reaction. Now up comes Hurdle. Hurdle tried to crash through. Hurdle a shot, and Stolars reels in the rebound.
A little pushing and shoving at the end here, and you just think everything towards the net is of real importance. There's through the crowd. You can see he went for his blocker, missed it, and then wasn't quite sure where it was off the back. Hurdle, who is dangerous in that open ice, just protected the puck to an area and get himself outside. And key there for Stolars. Don't allow any second chances. No rebounds in front off of those shots.
Tavares on the draw, won by the Golden Knights. And Marner gets his first shot of the night on Anthony Stolars.
Well, right off the draw, it's so important to jump in as a forward, and you can see playing that offside, coming up, you're just trying to get a good contact early before McCabe, the defenseman, can get there and get a piece of it.
12 and a half minutes for Marner tonight. That shot goes wide. He played 21-51 in Boston last night as Bruce Cassidy shortened the bench in that comeback bid. Benoit with a bump on Marner. Tavares trying to dangle away from Marner. And now McCabe out to the other side. Nice. Pitching down Lausanne. Marner's on it. Marner behind the net. Marner going in front. And he missed it with the pass. In low.
Kind of handcuffed him, didn't it, as the lefty coming across the net like that.
The Leafs having trouble getting out of their own zone, but Tavares up ahead. Domi offside at the Vegas line.
Well, there's Hurdle, who had the shot earlier on, but coming off the wall, Marner draws 2 men to him, and around the corner, quick close stop up. But yeah, just if that's a right-handed shot, it's right in your wheelhouse. But as the lefty, no chance at all for Hurdle to make the adjustment and get a piece of it.
Hurdle with 9 shots last night against Boston. Hit the score sheet. Stone with Eichel. Bouncing it through. Stolars played that along the boards. Kept in there on the backhand by Anderson. Here's Stone keeping it in. Mark Stone down low. In front. Stolars down and makes the stop. Stone around for Hannafin. Vegas asserting itself here early in the third. Anderson trying to swing away from McMahon. Carlo watching Eichel. Jack Eichel changes direction. Carlo trying to stay with him. Swiveled across and sent wide.
No helmet for Oliver Ekman-Larsson, so he had to get off. Good job of Morgan Rielly coming back to the middle. He intercepts that pass, although he ices it here. Could have been dangerous. Eichel had some time. Oliver Ekman-Larsson, his helmet went all the way into the corner, so it's not even like he could quickly grab it and get into the play. Didn't see exactly how. Oh wow! You know, he could have called that. That's knocked right off in front of him, right? Instead, Hurdle made that play, and that almost opened up Hurdle for a tap in there. Look at Oliver Ekman-Larsson's chirping at the official there. Felt there should have been a penalty.
That could be a call.
Probably should have been.
Matthews along the boards. Domi trying to get it out. Now they work it ahead of Riley. 30th assist on the year for Morgan Riley. 6th consecutive season. And 9th overall for Riley. 30 assists. Marner to the left wing. Hutko play it down into the Leaf zone. Riley after it. Morzak moved up. He's got it along the boards. Hands it off to Arpea. Marner steers that into the corner. Little got upended. Now Stetcher comes up with the puck. Up ahead, trying to get it to Lorentz. Knocked away from him. Back in is Hurdle after it. Riley on his backhand, flipped it ahead. Hutton able to hold it in once again. Now Riley works it free. Riley Smith winds it up. The Mimico product, red line and in. Smith playing in his 965th game. And Robertson's got it. Unable to get that ahead to Cowan. Waugh stops it up and plays it inside the line.
This is a line that hasn't really been able to get anything going for the Leafs here. The Waugh line, they've been pretty effective in the last little stretch of games, but tonight it's been fairly quiet. Haven't played a whole lot, haven't controlled the puck very often in the offensive zone.
So this guy would like to do something to help make amends for the turnover in overtime. Easton Cowan against Detroit with a play that rookies
Live and learn.
victimized, huh?
Yeah, live and learn. You got to out-muscle, lose the puck, and bang, just like that, it's game over. The puck's in the net.
Here comes Benoit charging in. Benoit looking for Matthews. And Hill pounces on that. So just shy of the 7-minute mark here in the third on a chilly night in Toronto.
You know, if this game was, game 4 of the season, I think it would be much more focused on just the personality part and Mitch coming back and what it all means. But you can just see the intensity and the importance of these points. You know, Vegas is trying to hold off the Edmonton Oilers in their division. The Leafs can't actually pass anybody tonight, which even means it's more important to make sure you get some points out of this game. How about the gamble of putting Stolarz in net? You know, he gave up 4, but he's played a pretty solid game.
Matthews almost in, knocked off his stick by Hannafin. Michael against Matthews along the boards. Comes free for Rasmus Andersson. His debut performance as a Golden Knight. Down into the Leaf zone for McKay. Around and McMahon will wind up. Here's McMahon sending it in from center. Bouncing it right on goal. Bill steers that away. McMahon crashed in on the forecheck. Riley plays it toward the net. John Tavares has come on. There's Tavares along the boards. Lost the puck, but able to work it back. And now Shea Theodore to center. And knocked deeper by Rodbjord. Around off the stick of Michelli. There's Riley. Fake pass that dies. Couldn't reach. Kolasar's got a goal in the game. He played it to the side of the net. It's loose. Carlo and Kolasar back after it. They both go down. Riley. Kolasar a little slow to get up. He's been hurt. Michelli sends it in. Nice. First to it. Top shot. Stopped by Hill in tight. Kolasar now making his way to the bench. Here is Michelli. Can't get it across. Benoit back to Michelli. Kolasar's been replaced on the ice, so the Leafs' brief man advantage has come to an end as the puck's out.
That's a really missed opportunity, was it? It was an elbow that got up into the face. Kolasar wants to have a penalty, isn't going to get it. It's a long battle in the corner for a loose puck. Here's a great job of getting it to the front of the net at the other end while Kolasar's trying to get himself out. Just, you could see the left arm there of Carlo went back. Carlo even gave him a pad. I think it was, one of those accidentally, not on purpose. but the evidence is on the face, and you're not going to get a penalty. So Colasar gets attended to, and you know that he'll be back.
And clearly, no embellishment there.
Yeah.
Obvious damage. Not quite Craig Berube damage, but
That's something, isn't it?
Matthews wins the draw. Domi for McCabe. And that deflects off Eichel. And into the seats.
You mentioned the face-offs again. You know, through 2 periods, 69% for these Leafs. They're having a record year in the face-off dot. And these are the moments. Offensive zone time, you get an opportunity to have a set play and try to create something from the advantage that they've had in the dot.
Leafs have Colorado here Sunday afternoon. Vegas on to the nation's capital. They'll play Ottawa Sunday. Domi's got the puck in behind the net. Matthews tried to get it to McMahon. It's McCabe. Domi. Reversing direction. Trying to beat that in front. Knocked down by Eichel. And Vegas clears. Past 9 minutes of the third. Up ahead for McMahon. Drops it in. He'll start a change. Domi on the forecheck. Played past him, and Eichel wheels out with Stone and Barbashev. Barbashev collided with Carlo and went down. Easton Cowan gets it back from Waugh. Riley follows up. And Riley, who opened the scoring 8 days ago between these two teams. Robertson to the line. Carlo, Cowan, and Riley shooting, knocked out in front. Vegas on it, and Marner with the outlet at center. There's Dorothea. And onto the logo, and held by Stolars.
And Dorothea just trying to get anything, looking for a rebound. At the other end, that puck headed pop through. You had Robertson at the side of the net. And I think both these teams with the mindset in this tight a game where you know the chucking's hard. You already saw it with the deflected goal of Bobby McMahon when Max Domi just floated it towards the net. There's never a bad play to get it with traffic in front. Good things can happen when you get that puck into the blue plane.
Shots 5-3 Vegas here in the third. Tanner Lazinski on this face-off. Wins it for the Golden Knights. Norzak played it into the corner. Lawrence working along the boards, but it's a full shot that is stopped by Stolars, and Waugh looks up ice. Trying to get it ahead to Lawton with the wrist. And recovering was Norzak to knock it away from Lawton. Looked like it was developing into a lead scoring chance. Now played in front of the net, and Snatcher with a good stick. Away goes Nyes. Nyes across Lawton at the end of a shift. Could reach that. Gonna try and get back on a change. Here comes Bowman. Looks 6 minutes to the head. Nyes is back there to pick that off.
That's a real break there. Snatcher was wanting to change. He and Riley kind of got their signals crossed. A good reaction to get back and at least get a piece of that puck.
It's passed by Riley ahead. Nyes knocked down. Got it across. Here's Tavares. To Riley in front. And that goes off the skate to Theodore. With Machelli on the doorstep. Now Colasar back into the fray. Rodbjorg after the puck. Played past Colasar. Tavares on it. Gets loud in the building as the fans trying to coax this Leaf team onto the tying goal. Tavares sputtered wide of the net off Hannafin. Now Eichel nearly lost it. He'll tee it up for Hannafin. Up the boards and up to center. Ekman Larson to McCabe. Domi says, I'll take it. Working his way in. Into McMahon, who swept it wide. Ekman Larson for Matthews. McMahon goes after it behind the net. Around it comes for OEL. Domi. Matthews slid off his stick. And back the other way is Rundbjörg. Eichel had it knocked away from him by Ekman Larson.
Barbashev to make sure he didn't get a piece of that.
And now a Dorofeev shot turned aside. To the line, Lazan holds the zone, and now Stolar's pulled over, and the penalty coming up. Thomas Hertl takes Stolar's down.
Oh, what a potential game-changing moment that is. Hertl 180 feet from his own goal. I don't know if he lost where he was. Did he get pushed in? There's not a whole lot of reaction. Oh, he's not even looking. And he just turns around and bang.
Pause. Skip forwards 15.
Stolarz, once he feels the contact, why not? Stolarz goes down. Hertl didn't realize how close he was to the net. A really bad penalty to take. And you waited 2.5 periods worth in a first power play opportunity down by a goal for the Maple Leafs.
Only had one power play in Vegas. They scored on it. Vegas has only been shorthanded for the fewest times of any team in the league. This is 117 times this season. 13th on the penalty kill. The Leafs 24th on the power play. Looking for an equalizer here with just under 7.5 to go. And off the draw, it'll be won by for Golden Knights, Eichel and Stone. It's a dangerous tandem to start the kill. Now Matthews gets them pointed in the right direction. Back for Michelli. He got past Eichel and in. Tavares trying to move it quick, but pocket picked by Eichel.
He couldn't get control. The puck, it was bouncing. He tried to protect the puck with his legs to get it to settle down, and Eichel, with that quick stick, able to get in there and clear.
Now Marner comes out in a penalty-killing capacity. Has not killed as much for Vegas as he did in Toronto. Nyes is in. Back it goes to Riley. Leafs will get it set up to Matthews. It skipped over his stick. The Nyes out in front. Marner is able to ward off Tavares and clear. And into the second minute of the power play without really a clean setup in the Vegas zone.
You know, that entry is so important. You lose that first draw, and now you're chasing it the entire time to gain the zone and get the setup.
In now, Tavares through, Michelli, back to Tavares. Bumps that to Matthews in the corner. Absorbed a hit and stays on it. Ekman Larson to the midpoint. Back for Matthews. And now, Michelli put it in front off a stick. Gets it back again. Spins away. Nyes and Tavares around the cage. Back up top, Matthews. Michelli. Ekman Larson. Matthews had to reach back for that. Down low, Tavares. Here's Ekman Larson shooting. Nyes wanted a tip, and it's knocked away. Back down the ice by Rundbjorn. So they don't register a shot, and Hertl returns. 2 minutes off the clock. Just over 5 to go. And here's Barbashev. Across for Stone. Taps that in. Brandon Carlo. McCabe. McMahon's in flight. Bobby McMahon trying to get to the net. He'll play it back for McCabe. Centers across. Nobody home. Now a 2-on-1 the other way. Barbashev and Stone. Stone scores. Mark Stone. And it's a 2-goal Vegas lead again.
Well, that excitement from the Vegas captain says it all. Just the gravity of that play. You kill off a penalty. You don't allow the Leafs any shot on goal. And a shot across that Domi was expecting a wraparound to get it. Now you've got McCabe who made that pass. He gets caught by McMahon on his horse trying to get there. And that was a pass the entire way that Barbashev was just waiting for that to open up. A saucer pass across, and this one goes underneath the glove. You can see Stolarz in desperation coming across, thinking high, and like so many goals this year, below the glove, and that's a huge one for Mark Stone. His year, just what an incredible season this has been offensively for him.
So 51 points in 34 games. Coming in, he was on a 122 pace. Been a little higher now.
point-per-game machine, hasn't he?
And that's a milestone goal, too, his 250th. Here's the centering pass from Lawrence. A chance and stopped with Lawton on the doorstep.
Right off the crossbar there. Again, we've seen numerous posts and crossbars in this game. Great drive to the net, open up that lane, and Lawrence just let it fly.
Close to getting it right back, but still down by 2, under 4 to go. McMahon along the boards. That's played past him, and Stetcher knocked it down. McCabe. Domi. Here's McMahon back in. Drops for Matthews. Moving up is Stetcher. Stetcher in front. And Horzak's there to knock it away and send away Kolasar. Keegan Kolasar firing that, looking for his own rebound. And Stolars has that. Kolasar already with a rebound goal tonight.
Boy, and the Leafs almost answer here. Fourth line like they often do right after a goal. Quick release off the post and out.
Madrid excepcional. A crisp.
It was Stone to Eichel to begin the night for Vegas. Barbashev to Stone, the latest for the Golden Knights. And those reactions, as Craig said, tells you all you need to know about their mindset coming into this one tonight, Chris.
It is the 11th multi-point game for Mark Stone head-to-head against Toronto. They've seen enough of Stone in 29 games.
Well, and after a 7-game winning streak, to lose those 2 games in a row, they know can't allow it to get to 3. Everything's so tight. This has been a big response after a tough game last night to lose.
And the Leafs in their 3rd game of a 5-game homestand without a win yet, and under 3 minutes to go here. One team was going to win their 25th of the season tonight. Vegas in charge right now. Stone lost it to Nyes. Through for Tavares as Stolars hits to the bench for an extra attacker. Ekman Larson moves up. Played past him, and Eichel sends it to center. Domi on with Matthews, Tavares, Nyes, Michelli, and they're offside at the line.
Tylenol Complete relieves cold, cough, and flu symptoms. Get relief like a pro with Tylenol, the official cold relief partner of the NHL.
Well, it's interesting to see how this game kind of gets away from, okay, all the focus on Mitch Marner. What's the reaction going to be? You can tell by the second period. It didn't really matter much, did it, Chris? You know, you get into these kind of important games. And another example just how different it is for him coming to a team like Vegas where you're not the main guy. You don't necessarily get the first penalty kill. When you go to a team that has won a Stanley Cup together and the kind of cohesiveness that Stone and Eichel have, you got to find a way to fit in, and it's such a different game for him coming into this environment than it was for his first 9 years as a member of the Maple Leafs. And maybe this game kind of shows that, doesn't it, where it hasn't been all about 93. There's a lot of other players who are pulling on the rope.
Not quiet from the crowd, but a quiet night for him. One shot, 16-24, and without a point with 5 on the board for the Golden Knights. But the scriptwriter might say empty net
is written all over him, or
give
what?
an opportunity for him to put the finishing touches on this. And that might be what his teammates are thinking about. Logan Riley ahead. Did Nyes touch that? He did. Aiden Hill around the boards. And that gets by a couple of Leafs tonight. Left third period. Tavares, Stone, and Eichel all have scored their 19th of the year tonight. Domi battles along the boards. Goes on trying to hold it there and burn some clock. Comes loose. And Tavares unable to swing that on goal. Riley back. Now Matthews. Vegas changed up. uphill.
Molson Leafs hockey on Sportsnet. Brought to you by Molson. We've been everywhere because we're for everyone. Molson, everyone in.
We got some tired bodies out here. This waste of time for Vegas to get their breath helps the Leafs as well. Everybody has been almost at the 2-minute mark.
Off the draw, Eichel prevails. Hanifin off the boards. Kept alive here and across for Tavares. Here's Tavares, and then got through off Hill. Into the corner, it bounces. Played to the line, good knockdown by Riley shooting. Loose puck from Michelli. Unable to control it. Now sent off the glove of Tavares. Michelli trying to get it back. Anderson out there in the late stages. Mark Stone, and you bet. Stone with another, his 20th of the year, will ice this for Vegas tonight.
And just no hesitation for Stone as he just turns and fires. How about Rasmus Anderson, his first game as a member of the Vegas Golden Knights? He's out there with the goaltender out, defending, and he makes a play to chip it to the side, and for good measure, not just in the middle, off the post and in, never in doubt.
1901, the empty net goal, so Stone, a 3-point night. 39 points in 29 career games against Toronto. So the Leafs won 7 straight at home, but now starting this critical 5-game homestand with 3 losses, 1 point on the overtime loss against Detroit.
Well, and this one trip for the Vegas Golden Knights is all Atlantic Division teams. So they gave Boston points last night. They take points from the Leafs here. You've got Ottawa and then, of course, Montreal. So they can do a lot of damage like they have here tonight.
Rasmus Anderson does get the secondary assist, so his first point is a Golden Knight, and the clock ticks down here. Mitch Marner was the focus of attention, but when the game started